So to begin, we take up a standard Qigong standing stance. Okay, so a standard Qigong standing stance. It's generous and wide. It's wider than your hips. And so very often when I say, take a wide stance, people end up standing at hip width. And if you think about how wide your hips are, and that's the outside of your foot, we want to be wider than that, at least a foot width wider than that on each side. So now, when your arms hang down and you glance down the outside of your arm, you should be looking more or less at the outside of your foot. You could go even wider than that. So in medical Qigong, which I studied for many years, we go even wider. And what we're looking for is a really stable lower base to the body. So it's always fascinating to see when you go to the parks in China, so many old people standing very, very solidly. And the whole problem we have, of course, in the West is people have this risk of falling as they grow older. Well, of course, working with this very strong base takes away that risk or minimizes that risk a great deal. So having a good, firm standing stance is really one of the keys to healing ourselves in Shineng Qigong. It's building up this lower energy, but it's building it in a very subtle, slow, long way, as it were. Okay, so what I mean by that is that if we practice our standing every day, then we're going to be able to gently build up these muscles to become very supportive over a long period of time. Okay, so the first thing we need to know about our standing stance is the wide stance. The second thing is dropping into the knees. Okay, so rather than standing with the knees locked back, which we do at a bus stop, we relax and let the knees sink down. And so they just need to be unlocked a little bit, and that brings the tailbone to sit down slightly. Drop your tailbone down. Have your hands hanging down by your sides. Okay, so a good sitting stance. That sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? We're standing, but it's like we're sitting down on a cheese chair, on a stool, so that your tailbone just drops down and heads down towards the ground. Okay, so when you stand up, you tend to push your tailbone backwards. So just try doing that. Lock your legs straight and feel your tailbone is slightly pushed backwards, and feel your lower back has responded by being quite curved forwards. So now, unlock the knees and sit down. Tuck the tailbone softly towards the front and feel how your lower back has changed. Your lower back has become quite straight. So what we're looking for is this lovely straight lower back. Knees bent, straight lower back, tailbone just a fraction towards the front. And as we move our tailbone towards the front, we feel the lower back straighten up. Between the legs, there's an acupuncture point called Hui Yin. It sits between your anus and genitalia, and we just lift gently up with Hui Yin. So we have this kind of relaxed state, lifting gently at Hui Yin. So the tailbone moves forward, Hui Yin lifts up, and all of this area in the middle gently moves towards the back. So we're just drawing the whole of the central belly towards the back. So there's almost like a feeling of a circular motion here. Tailbone tips forward, Hui Yin lifts up, everything moves towards the back, tailbone sits down, like a circle here. Okay, so when we get into that posture, the knees bent, the tailbone slightly tipped forward, this is the lower body set and ready. We've already activated the thighs by bending the knees. We've activated the calves by bending the knees. The weight is shifted gently forwards to the front of the foot. So we have this standing posture. And what happens over a period of time is that you tend to sort of stand up again and come back onto your straight leg posture. So you just have to keep on reminding yourself, relax the knees down, tuck tailbone forward, sit down. And over a period of time, it just becomes fact. But it does take a little while to get used to having a standing posture in Qigong. So just remind yourself, soften the knees, tuck tailbone heading down to the ground. Okay, so This middle section moving slightly backwards, that's straightened out the lumbar spine. And what we're doing next is thinking about the cervical spine. So very often we'll see people who, look down or look forward, or their chin juts forward. And unfortunately, we spend so much time in this posture these days, staring at our cell phones, staring at our computer screens, hunched over the wheel of our car, that we tend to change the shape of the upper body. Always been a problem for me. And so the upper body, what we're trying to do is lift the breastbone ever so slightly lift the breastbone, and have the shoulders so the arms hang completely down by the seam of the trousers. We have this posture where we have the chest slightly lifted, and then the cervical curve needs to be straightened slightly. So we just draw our chin back towards the spine, tuck chin in. So as I always say, if you ever watch a a Tai Chi class of beginners, and very often they say, tuck chin in, what happens is the whole class does this. And that sort of feels like tucking the chin in, because you're tucking the chin right into your throat. And that's not what we want to happen. We want to be gazing forwards, not exactly horizontal, but we just have a slightly lowered gaze. So you can imagine staring at a point 30, 40 meters on the ground ahead of you. So it's not directly off into the horizon. It's just slightly lowered below the horizon. And then our chin softly drawing backwards towards the spine. And as you draw the chin back to the spine, that straightens up the cervical curve. So we've got the thoracic curve, lumbar chain, thoracic curve, lumbar chain, the lower back straightened by tipping the tailbone forward, and the upper back straightened by tucking the chin in. And so we have this very straight spine. This is as straight as your spine will ever be. We have the knees bent, tailbone tucked downwards, forwards, and drop down, and the top of the head by way lifting up. So when the tailbone drops down, the top of the head lifts up. We have this kind of extension of the spine, this inner core energy moving upwards in the body, and the body relaxing downwards. Let's relax our shoulders a little bit. Just move your shoulders forwards, lift your shoulders up, roll your shoulders backwards, and then soften and relax them down. You can take a breath in when you do this. Roll forwards and gently breathe in. Roll to the back. As you softly breathe out, let the whole body relax. Forwards, breathe in. Roll the body gently to the back and breathe out. Once more. Roll to the back and breathe out. Okay, great. Let the whole body relax. There's just a little adjustment you can make to your arms as well. Rather than having the arms pressed tightly against the body, we just open the armpits out a little bit. So often this is called the gunfighter stance, like sort of old cowboy movies. There's a slight sort of tuck, space underneath the elbow, and a slight curve at the elbow. Space at the armpit, curve at the elbow, curve at the wrist. So it's not quite, like this, but it has a little sensation of slightly lifting and making space at the armpit, and the arms will just gently curve. So now you have your perfect standing posture. Maybe standing is going to be a challenge for you. That's another question. What happens if I can't stand for an hour? Well, sit down. Simple. Have a chair behind you, just so you can drop your bottom down and sit for a few minutes, stand up again and try and keep going. What happens if my feet are sore? Always a question. Give them a little shake out. This is called static Qigong, but we're trying to make it as doable, usable. And so do try and, move your body if you need to. If you find that your shoulders are sore, just give them a little roll. Doesn't really matter. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares. You have to make this sustainable for yourself. This has to be something, and in fact, sustainable is not a particularly good word either. There's this idea, one of my friends once said to me, if you want to talk about your marriage, would you describe it as being sustainable? I thought, wow, that's quite good. Yes, I see that. Sustainable is not exactly, sustainable is just the bare minimum, isn't it? So you want to make it comfortable, you want to make it relaxed and nice. So what we're trying to do is just soften and relax into this stance. But if you need to adjust it, why not adjust it? Okay, so when we find a standing stance, there's a question about the arms and the hands. So later on, as we go into this exercises, we'll bring our hands up in front of our belly, just a nice, gentle, rounded sort of story in front, gently bending the elbows. And so when we have this standing stance, we just curl the hands round in front of the belly. And so the middle finger just lightly touches, the middle finger opposite the belly button. Okay, so we relax our shoulders, nicely curved round. And just when you notice my standing stance, the elbows are gently bent, the wrists are gently bent, the fingers are gently bent, and the hands just curl round in front of the belly, so the middle fingers are level with the belly button. So we can come to this stance later. For me, I tend to find that my hands have actually come up as far as middle dantian, but that's fine. You know, it doesn't really matter where you hold your hands. We'll get there in the end. And so what tends to happen is that the hands float at the level they need to float at. And so just a note about that, if when we bring our hands around later on, and you find your hands here, and you find them drooping down, and you find your sort of body heading down with the hands, then that's fine. Just let them relax back into this gunfighter stance. You don't have to lift your hands up. You may not be ready for that. You may not have enough chi to support that. And so it tends to be more about ego than it tends to be about chi to begin with. And we're thinking, yeah, I must be able to do this. I must be able to hold my hands up here. And after a while, you think, oh gosh, and perhaps your shoulders start to hurt. Don't fight it. Just make your hands go where they want to go. You don't have to overthink this. You can just bring your hands back and let them settle in front. Okay, so now we're trying to get this idea of a decent standing stance, something we can sustain. Next is mind activity. What about your mind? What we'd like to do is to quieten the mind, to quieten the conscious mind. So we have, in fact, quieten the subconscious mind as well. So they say that 95% of all of the activity of the body is subconscious. And then we have only 5% consciousness. And that's crazy. If you think about how much noise there can be in your head, you think, wow, there's only 5%. What on earth is going on? But the point is, you don't need to breathe. You don't need to make yourself breathe. You don't need to make your heart beat. You don't need to remember how to brush your teeth. You know, all of these things can be taken on a subconscious level. They become automatic patterns. This is one of the keys to it, is that we just want to try and set aside all the automation of our body. We want to allow that to quieten and settle down. Because if that part of our mind is going, then it's consuming energy. And what we're trying to do here with standing Qigong is gather energy. So if we can quieten down the processes, quieten down the thoughts, quieten down the dialogue, then we're able to start to gather much more effectively. Okay, so how to quieten the mind? Well, that's been the story of an age. Everybody's got many different ideas about how to do it. For me, I use just one breath, a gentle breath in through the nose. As I exhale, I manage to bring myself down into my belly. I settle and center myself. And then I think about, do I need to make another one of those breaths or do I feel calm? As you can see, I'm thinking about it, but I'm just trying to quietly assess whether I feel settled or not. And perhaps I might think, okay, just another breath. I breathe in and imagine illuminating upper dantian, all this light gathering in the brain. And then I breathe out. I draw the breath deep into my belly. I draw my mind deep into the belly. And then I just softly continue breathing and hoping the mind is nice and quiet now. Okay, so I owe a lot to Dr. Wayne Dwyer. Rest his soul, he moved on a few years ago, but he's an amazing being. He had a lovely meditation that was called Mind the Gap, or maybe I've called it that because I used to travel on the London Underground. And there was always, no, sorry, Dr. Wayne Dwyer calls it Getting in the Gap. And I thought it'd be nice to call it Mind the Gap, because of course the mind in the gap. And if you travel on the London tube stations, in certain stations, you hear them say, mind the gap so you don't fall into the hole between the platform and the train. So I've repurposed that, and now we call this meditation mind the gap. The idea is this, and let's just try it. Imagine yourself. Okay, hang on, step back one. Let's go back to the Zhineng Qigong idea of draw mind back. So first of all, your attention is out and you're listening to me. What we're really trying to do is to draw our attention back into our heads. And this is what the one breath does as well. It centers you in the brain. It brings everything back into the center of the brain. And then when you breathe out, everything goes down into your belly and you just inhabit your body. You try and silence your mind. So we're inside now, eyes closed. Just imagine that you're sitting at a theater in a row of seats at the front. You're gazing onto the stage. The stage doesn't have any stage set on it. It's just a dark, blank, cool, velvety, quiet place, waiting for the lights to come on, waiting for something to happen, waiting for an actor to enter the stage. It's probably a very modern play if there's no scenery. It's just got this dark background. And you think about this beautiful, dark, velvety space, just curtains, just calm, just cool. And this is where we rest our mind. Well, inevitably, there's going to be a thought pop up. And we just accept that that's the way our brain works. We get into a nice, quiet state. And then suddenly the ego says, shouldn't we be remembering to do this? And you think, oh, yeah, maybe I should. And then that's it. Your cool, dark, calm space has just been ruined by some thought of shopping or the children, the dogs, whatever it might be. And so we need a way to reset that. So what Wayne Dwyer used to suggest was that you think of a phrase that means something to you, a phrase that's important to you. So perhaps you might think of Om Namah Shivaya. Perhaps you might think of Our Father who art in heaven. Perhaps you might think of Hail Mary, full of grace. Perhaps you might think of Maharata. Whatever the important and powerful phrase is, it should be something that's familiar to you and something that's comfortable to you, not something that brings back bad memories or, long days stuck in a church somewhere. It's not, it's got to be something that you feel is comfortable. And so just use Om Namah Shivaya as an example. So Om, we often hear this Om, it's a way to relax yourself. So the full, one of the full mantras is Om Namah Shivaya. And we think about Om, the letters O and M. Imagine them on your stage in front of you. They're 10 feet, 3 meters high letters made in beautiful 3 dimensions. And they've just been wheeled onto the stage and the spotlight comes on. There's a beautiful spotlight on the letters Om, and they've been painted gold and they've been covered in sparkles and they've got jewels all over them and they're exceptionally grand and very, very beautiful. And so somebody has wheeled this Om onto the stage and you just imagine viewing Om and just feel that beautiful Om. Okay, so you just stay with that just for a moment. And then you move that Om and you move it across out of sight. So now we've got a completely empty stage, totally empty stage. And we're thinking about what happens when this Om is gone. It's like resetting the stage. So our idea has popped up, bing, and then this beautiful character has come onto the stage. And then it wheels off and leaves the stage in perfect darkness. Your mind, calm, relaxed, settled. And so we just hear this totally empty space, see this totally empty space. And our mind has gently been reset again. Stay in this dark, cool space as long as you can. After a while, another thought may come to trouble you. Then we know that we have Nima, the next word, sitting in the wings, waiting to come and reset the space. So we can draw this next word across into our mental theatre. Imagine Nima with beautiful golden letters, everything lit, spotlit. And your ego loves this kind of fancy, beautiful image and thinks, oh, that's great, lovely. And then eventually we wheel it off and leave ourselves with a great, empty, dark, cool space. Knowing that Shivaya is waiting in the wings. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. And we can just keep this phrase rolling through. Our Father who art in heaven. Whatever it might be. We just use this idea of a reset and this cool, dark place. So we stand in our standing posture. We quieten our mind. We allow these thoughts to gently reset. So when something pops up, we can gently reset. When something pops up, we can gently reset. When something pops up, we can gently reset. So now just try standing for a few moments. Just see if you can keep your mind quiet. Whole body relaxes. Soften into the standing posture. Knees gently bent and relaxed. Tailbone slightly tucked. Spine long. Gently stretching up into the blue sky. The whole body is relaxed. The mind is quiet and relaxed in this calm, cool, dark space. As soon as you switch the mind off, as soon as you move into this quiet place, the cells of your body move into healing mode. No longer occupied by thoughts, processes, emotions. Now we're in this stable, steady, cool, dark place. Soft, velvet-like, velvety space. Body relaxing. Mind quiet. Body's already healing. Can it be as simple as that? I'm always fascinated by Blaise Pascal, 17th century French mathematician, who said, all of mankind's problems stem from the fact that a man cannot sit in a room alone. I think he's right. We find our way to this quiet space. Stop our thinking. The healing automatically begins. You've taken up a superior stance that allows qi to flow into your body with great ease. So now we're gathering the resources of the universe. Why not try holding your hands gently in front of your belly? Just by having the hands in front of the belly, we can gather a little bit more qi. the hands just focus a little bit of this qi into the belly. We stand with our knees gently bent. The qi surges up the legs to lower dantian. Stand with our backs straight. Qi pours down to lower dantian. Gathering from nature all around us. So we're in this perfect position. Body relaxed and gathering as much qi as it possibly can. Mind quiet. All of the cells in healing mode. Ultimately, there are only two movements to the entire universe. That is open and close. Just imagine letting your body gently open. Just imagine letting go at a cellular level. Once you were this solid person, this three-dimensional body, now we're softening and opening, letting go, and expanding. No longer just inside this body. Feel the qi field around you. You start to see that everything is made of qi. We start to understand that I always say, we're like little qi vegetables floating in a beautiful qi soup. Imagine yourself as a qi carrot or a qi pea floating in this beautiful qi soup. Totally connected with everything. Totally one with everything. It's not possible for you to be disconnected. It's not possible for you to be alone. Everything is connected. We are one with everything. So in this harmoniously connected way, we feel the qi field around us. This is one of Dr. Pang's greatest discoveries. The connection of it all. Through all the Ayurveda, we read that we are one. It permeates into every culture, from Sanskrit writings through Chinese writings, and eventually to Western spirituality. We are one. But now we start to experience that as our truth. Really experience that as our truth. Feel your connection to all there is. Feel your connection to everything. Me connected to you through the qi field. You connected to me through the qi field. As a class, all of us deeply connected. Our class connected to many other classes around the world. Millions of people who do Zheneng Qigong. When we look at Zheneng Qigong, when we look at quantum science, we talk about no time, no space. Time just being a construct of the ego. In reality, it doesn't matter whether you're connecting now in half an hour, 4 days ago, 2 years' time, still connected across time and space, this vast chi family. We all have the same intention: to heal ourselves and to create this healing field. So in a very simple way, it might be thought of as being tuned into a radio station, tuning a frequency on your dial and receiving the broadcast. But also, you are a transmitter too. So you're connecting to the wider. Perhaps it's more like the internet. So when we have this deep idea of connection, start to realize that you're never alone. You can never be lonely in your chi family, because there's always like-minded individuals connected to you. There's always this great healing information available for you. This vast library of people. If there's a specific problem that you have, there's going to be someone out there who knows how to cure it. There's going to be someone out there who's already cured it. Their information is there and available for you. So very often Dr. Pang talks about this idea of accessing an idea of you when everything was perfect. Think about that as a possibility. Maybe there's no time in your life where you feel comfortable thinking about yourself. Perhaps you've always felt awkward and out of place and different. But perhaps there is a period of your life when you can think, yeah, that was when everything was just right. I felt good. I felt healthy. Everything was flowing. Everything was working well. Perhaps you have a photograph of it. Perhaps you have a specific memory. Use that as a go-to point. I remember how I felt during that hot summer of 1976, fill in the blanks. I remember how good I felt. I remember how strong my body felt, how confident I felt. Remind your body that it can be like that again. Okay, so perhaps there's a complexity in your life that doesn't really allow you to feel that good. What about somebody else then? We have our Olympics going on at the moment. Perhaps you admire a sports person. Perhaps you admire, I don't know, a health fitness person, whatever it might be. How about using them as your go-to idol? You think, I've always admired X. I'm going to read about them. I'm going to read about the struggles they've taken. I'm going to read about the things they've gone through. I'm going to absorb the idea of this person into my life. And I'm going to work towards being like them. Or work towards that time in my life when I was really fit and healthy. So why not find an ideal and then set that as an anchor point and draw yourself towards it? Think about that time when you were confident, well, happy, everything was working well. Make that your future. So the more we dwell on the idea of, I have this problem, I am unwell, the more we're reinforcing that to our minds. So try to stay away from reinforcing bad stories. Try to put pictures around of when you felt fantastic, or put pictures around of your idol to remind you that you're working towards doing a marathon, working towards going back to the gym, whatever it is, working towards standing for an hour in Qigong, whatever your story might be. Put up reminders every time you open your phone and you see a picture of an Olympic athlete. It reminds you, that's what I'm working towards. This is my goal. Not, oh I still feel broken and unwell. Try to keep away from that. So where is your mind? Do you need to reset the stage? Do you need to move the ideas away and leave yourself in a cool, calm space? Check your knees are softly bent. Check your tailbone is gently tucked forward, slightly sitting down. Check your chin is tucked backwards. Bai lifts up, tailbone pulls down. Bend the knees and feel the connection to the earth. Straighten the neck and feel the connection to the heavens. Hands settle in front of you wherever's comfortable. We reset our mind. So I'm just going to go quiet for a few minutes. Your Zoom hasn't stopped working. Where's your mind? Did it wander off? Is it still settled? Now we're going to dissolve our problems. As I mentioned earlier, there are only really two movements of the entire universe: open and letting go, closed, bringing chi back in. So we use the Chinese words kai. Kai means open, but it has so much more hidden inside it. It means expand, open outwards, in our case, open out to the universe. Big expansion. And then we use the Chinese word he. He means close, but it also means draw back in, gather energy. And so what we're considering here is the possibility that we can let our whole body open and dissolve out into the chi field. Well, it is anyway, but we can really, really do it with our mind, let the whole body go. And when we gather in, we can draw this healing chi deep inside our body. Kai means open, He means close. So with this, you can choose to move your hands as well, if you wish. Opening to about the size of a football, closing to about the size of a melon. So this movement is not very big. Sometimes I find when I move, my whole body opens out into the universe, and that doesn't really matter. And you can bring the energy back down to a tiny, 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 and even have your hands on your belly. It's not really prescriptive as such. It's just whatever feels right for you. So first of all, think about what it is you wish to work with today. What aspect of you are you going to dissolve? It might be incredibly obvious. It might be a tumor that needs to be dissolved and got rid of. It might be less obvious. It might be a pain in your back needs to be dissolved and got rid of. You don't know exactly what it is, you know, where it's coming from. It might be a deeper story than that. It might be a problem between you and your sister, a problem between you and your children. It might be deeper than that. It might be something that happened to you deep in your past that you haven't been able to shrug off. Perhaps the person's even died. Perhaps the problem is just something that echoes from your past into your daily life. So now we dissolve. So it's all very well the idea of letting go and dissolving. That's really, really powerful. But what are you going to put back in its place? I suggest something that's perfect, healthy, and healed. But what would be the point of dissolving a tumor and then bringing back a tumor? That would be utterly pointless. So when we're opening and closing, we're thinking about the problem, we're letting it go, letting it dissolve, and we're bringing back healthy, perfect, working body, emotions, relationship, whatever that might be. Okay, so we have this idea. But also, the one thing we don't want to do is harp on about something, is to keep on going on about the same thing. So as I mentioned to you, what we don't want to say is, I dissolve my tumor. Something comes back in the place of my tumor. I dissolve my tumor. Something comes back in the place of my tumor. Because you're just keeping on repeating the fact that you have a tumor. So what we do is we set our intention. You think to yourself, right, I've got this tumor. I'm going to dissolve it. That's the end of the story. And then we say, open up and dissolve the whole of the liver out into the blue sky, bring back a perfect working liver. So we don't go on about the problem. Don't reinforce the problem. Let my whole body dissolve, bring back perfect, healthy healing. Whole body dissolves. All my emotions dissolve, bring back perfect, healed emotions. You know, all of the past dissolves, bring back. So you can make and set your intention once and just think, I'm dealing with this problem from my past with my grandfather, my father, whatever it might be. But we don't have to keep on going back to it. So you set your intention, and then let's just dissolve all problems and bring back perfect healing. So don't go on about your problem. Also, that is a good rule for life. It's good to not be going on about your problem and telling it to everybody when you're going through your daily life. Sometimes it's better just when people say, how are you? Just to say, I'm getting on fine, thank you. You know, and if they want to go deeper and say, yeah, but what about your problem? You sort of say, no, I'm not really worrying about it at the moment. It's a changing your attitude about how you feel about yourself. If your inclination is to say, oh, I feel terrible, this terrible problem is going on, it's going on, it's going on, again, you're reinforcing it. So what you're doing now is setting a new reality for yourself. You're thinking to yourself, this is how I want to be. This is how I want to feel. And when someone says to you, how are you? Skip the brutal honesty and move on to the new reality. Just say, yeah, I'm feeling much better. I feel much happier. I'm getting my act together. I'm moving the right direction. Things like that. And so let's just think about talking about ourselves in a different way. And someone says to you, how are you? You say, oh, same old, still me, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's not good for anybody. The next time someone says to you, how are you? You say, yeah, good, thank you, everything nice. And then just expect that to be your reality. Okay, so let's go with our La Chi. So we focus onto something we wish to heal. And now we're going to let that problem dissolve forever. Say, Kai. Think about that problem, just dissolving, letting go. Now we're going to bring back perfect healing to that aspect of you. We use the word her. So this is all about change, change at the deepest level, letting go at the deepest level, bringing about complete change. We say Kai to relax and release. We say her to bring back huge amounts of healing chi deep inside your body. Body healed and working well. Open up. Open up at the deepest level of you. Let go, let go, let go. Bringing the healing chi deep inside. Kai represents a fundamental dismantling, perhaps at a cellular level, perhaps at a DNA level, perhaps at an emotional level, tearing a pattern to shreds, getting rid of an old story. Our universe is vast. The quantity of chi is extraordinary. Your little problem is minuscule, tiny, and nothing compared to the vastness of our universe. Of course, we want our problems to be big and important, but at this universal scale. just a speck in time and space, gone in an instant. So let this physical problem dissolve into the chi field. Let this emotional pattern dissolve into the chi field. Let this bad relationship dissolve into the chi field. Let go, let go, let go. So now this universe, this vast resource, this vast healing information library, this vast resource of incredible healing chi can be brought spiraling back towards you. We can gather it into our lives to bring about complete healing. So let's use her to gather it back inside. Healing chi penetrates deep into your body. The good new information fills your body. Old stories overwritten by this new information. Old chi flows reprogrammed and washed away by this new chi you've gathered. Rebuilding a brand new you. Sometimes I feel we can't open enough and just one chi won't do it. So I imagine opening and opening and opening and opening and opening. So let's just do 5 chis. Perhaps you can open it at a cellular and DNA level. Perhaps you can open up at a bone marrow and bone level. Perhaps you can open up at a kind of meaty level. Muscles, sinews, tendons, skin. Perhaps you can open up at a chi level. Energy around you, chi field. Still opening out into the chi field beyond. Expanding emotions, relationships, everything out into the chi field. Expanding beyond that. Start to feel the blue sky chi. Start expanding, feeling our solar system. Expand beyond, beyond, beyond. Blue sky. Universe. Open, open, open. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Now we start to gather. Incredible vast resources of the universe. Drawing in. Drawing in from our solar system. Drawing in from our blue sky. Gathering healing chi towards our chi field. Gathering healing chi into our lives. Blue sky chi pouring in. Rebuilding your body at the DNA level. Rebuilding your body at a cellular level. rebuilding at an organ level, rebuilding at a systemic level. So we rebuild our nervous system. We rebuild our endocrine system. We rebuild at our nerves, endocrine, at our healing digestive level. We rebuild at our perception level. Whole of the body, brand new, brand new, brand new. Blood and chi flowing well. Veins, heart, liver, blood level, chi level, whole new body, whole new body, blue sky chi pours through your new body. All of the emotions being cleaned, washed clean. All of the patterns in your life dissolved and gone. Just your perfect true self shining through your body. Beautiful new you. Beautiful new you. How about we gently draw our hands onto our bellies? Lay your hands on lower dantian. Just feel the transformation that's taking place inside you. So for the longest time, we've been stuck in these loops going round and round because they were conditioned into us. But by letting go, we let go of the conditioning. We start to dissolve the stories that once pinned us in place. Letting go at this deep DNA level, letting go at this deep patterning level, letting go of who we used to be and making up a brand new, healthy version of us now. At a DNA level, everything is gone. Everything has changed. All of the old stories, all of the switches shifted and changed. Your genes upregulating now, shifting and changing the way your cells work. Your cells shift and change the way they work, changing the functionality of your body. At a mind level, we've changed the patterns that were making toxins flow through our body, changed at the deepest level. The ideas, the bad old stories change. And now good chemicals start to flow through the body. The toxins have been washed out of the system. Anything can shift in your body in a moment. Anything can shift in your body. Dr. Pang says, woo woo, boo, swa. There is nothing that cannot be changed. There is nothing that cannot shift. There is nothing in the whole universe that cannot be changed. Think on that for a moment. Information that you've been given by doctors, by medicine, by church, by state, by parents. You thought it was true. Now you see that it's just limited thinking holding you back. Now we shift everything. Now we change everything. Now we cut through the old stories. We cut away all the things we no longer need. And what's left? Just your perfect true self, guiding your perfect chi body to a perfect new way of being. Body relaxed, mind expand, body open, connected deeply to the universe, healing chi pouring into you, new information residing deep inside you, a brand new you, a brand new way of being, a brand new way of thinking, a brand new way of healing. Hao La. In Chinese medicine, in Chinese culture, Hao La means good already. Everything that we've worked with is already changing. Hao La, changing already at the deepest level. Everything we've set in motion is Hao La. Feel that idea. Hao La. Everything inside your body working well. Everything inside your body changing. This extraordinary shift that you've brought about. This extraordinary power you discover deep inside yourself to bring about this extraordinary healing. No longer powerless. Now, with all the power in the universe behind you. Change. So easy, so comfortable. Welcome your change. Allow it to happen. You don't need the old stories anymore. They can go. Say thank you, wish them goodbye, see them on their way, and then you work on your new self. Happy days. Hun Yuan Ling Tong. Dr. Pang's phrase, Hun Yuan Ling Tong. Hun Yuan Ling Tong. In its most simple translation, Hun Yuan Qi is flowing well. Hun Yuan Qi of the universe, this beautiful entirety Qi of the universe, is flowing well through your life, bringing deep healing to your life. Hun Yuan Ling Tong. Blood and Qi flow well, healing Qi flow well. Your life flows well. Open yourself to that possibility now. Hun Yuan Ling Tong. Everything flowing well. Oh. So if your hands have come off your belly, you can bring them back to the belly, holding lower dantian, holding the belly, holding this amazing chi deep inside. We're going to turn 3 circles around the belly to bring ourselves back into our bodies, because I mean, you have just been out to the far corners of the universe to gather this amazing healing chi back into your body. So let's just gather ourselves back to ourselves now, bring ourselves back into this reality, whatever that might be. So let's just turn 3 circles around the belly button anti-clockwise. Doesn't matter if you're not going anti-clockwise, just force of habit for me. 3 circles anti-clockwise tends to bring you back into your physicality, but it tends to draw lots of chi back into the center of the body. So if the chi's been distributed anywhere else, these 3 circles gather it back into the storage place deep in your belly. And then we do 3 circles in the opposite direction. And that just brings you back down, brings you back into the physicality, brings you back into this time and space. But we always know that we can just take this one breath in and sink ourselves deep back into the belly and bring ourselves into our chi state. So this is called being in the qigong state. Once you've felt it, you can always remember how it is. You're wandering around in a bit of a problem, wondering, oh, where should I go? What do I need to do next? First thing you can do is bring yourself to the chi state. Big breath in, settle yourself down, and then think, what would Chi Jeremy do about this? What would Chi, your name, insert your name here, do about this? So try and work from your Chi place, not from your mind place. Our mind has got so many old patterns. We go down very simple routes. Your mind will always take the shortest route from A to B. So this is why we have to use different way of being. a different way of thinking. And now I'm saying this chi state that we've been in, think about how it feels now. And when you need to, bring yourself back to the chi state in just one breath and operate from your chi place. Okay. So we've got ourselves back into our bodies, just starting to feel our reality returning. Just imagine a chi field around you, a beautiful glowing shield of energy all around your skin. It's called your Wei Chi layer. And this is a protective shield of chi that you can imagine like a suit of armor around your body. So again, when you're in a difficult place, think about your Wei Chi layer. Dress yourself in your Wei Chi layer in a moment. One night, while walking down Oxford Street late at night, having come out of a music venue, and I was just walking home, and I could see this guy heading the opposite direction to me. He was shouting at people, he was pushing people, he was basically becoming a big problem. It also embarrassed me because he was a Scotsman just like me. I could hear his accent from about 100 meters away, him swearing. And anyway, I thought to myself, oh God, he's just going to be attracted to me. And so I thought, I'm going to put up my chi field. And so I instantly put this chi field around me. And he walked up to me, and about a meter away from me, he just suddenly took a right turn and disappeared off down an alleyway. And I was just left there standing. He was as amazed as I was. He was just about to come up to me, and then suddenly he walked off in the opposite direction, staggered away. The chi field really works. Use your chi field to protect yourself in a busy street, in a busy mall, whatever's going on. Just put your chi field up there. Protect yourself. A cloak of invisibility. Do use the chi field. One breath in, center yourself. Make your chi person and make your decision from a chi place. Remember how you felt. Remember how empowered you felt during this lesson, and bring that back and operate from there. Think about your chi shield. Think about your chi body. It's a meter around you, a meter above you, below you, in front and behind. This beautiful bubble of chi. It keeps you safe, but it also protects you into the outside world. So very often you might be aware, if you're standing somewhere and someone just steps a little bit too close to you, that activates your chi field, and you look round, you instantly know when somebody's come into your chi field. So we have the chi, Wei Chi layer, protection. We have our chi field, protection but connection. So just see yourself inside these fields of energy, every cell in your body working well, every cell in your body functioning perfectly, your body filled with a ton of chi, enough chi to power you through your week. All of the functions of your body returning to perfect working order. All of the functions of your body are healthy. All the functions of your body, healthy, healthy. Great. So there's you. A vision of yourself, healthy and well. A time when you were really, really happy, everything working well. This chi to back it all up. Your chi field to protect you. A big smile on your face. Slowly opening your eyes. Let the hands relax down by your sides. Perhaps give your hands a little shake out. Perhaps you can shake out your feet. If you've been sitting or lying, that's fine. You don't have to move. But if you want to move, no problem. You can do a little bend if you wish, but never come up quickly. Only ever come up very slowly, because you can make yourself terribly dizzy. So let's just move slowly and gently while we bring our body back into a bit of movement. It's been standing perhaps for an hour, so it's nice just to give it a move, give it a little shift around. Perhaps a stretch. And when you feel like you've stretched out and opened up and you feel better, the next thing we're going to do is say "hao la" together. So just as a warning, if you switch on your microphone or you switch on your camera, then that means you'll be put on the YouTube and you'll be visible. So if you don't want to, don't switch them on. It's not a problem. If you want to join in, that's great. Up to you. And so this will go up on YouTube. And yeah, so if you don't want to be on YouTube, don't turn on. I'll know you're saying howla. It'll be fine. Don't worry. So what we do is I count 1, 2, and then we say howla. We put our hands up in the air. So we're going to do 3 sets of howla. And the first howla is good, and everything is good and perfect for the body. Everything is good and ready for the family is the second one, and everything is good and ready for all of the friends and everybody out there, the rest of the world. So let's say howla 3 times. Hands up in the air. 1, 2. Howla. 1, 2. Howla. 1, 2. Howla. Okay. So we have a final Zheneng Qigong salute for each other. You bring the right hand up and the left hand down, and then you pull the fingertips together and the thumbs on the end. So it's a bit like a yin and yang symbol. This is the Zheneng Qigong salute. So thank you very much for being here today. It's been really lovely to have you. And as I always say, I put it on YouTube and I ask you to pass it round. It's a completely free class. And as you can see, it doesn't require any real Qigong knowledge as such. So please send it on to anybody who might need it, anybody who might benefit from it. Thank you very much for being here. And yeah, see you next week, hopefully. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.